City and Midland. This is ABC 12 News, first at 4.
Welcome back. College enrollment for 2025 was up according to the National Student Clearinghouse Research Center. In a November 2025 research report, the organization reported undergraduate enrollment ticked up 2.4% in the fall of 2025 semester. Enrollment for 18-year-olds increased 3.2% year over year in the fall of 2025. But with AI and the increasing cost of college, how could higher education be changing in the future? We are joined now by Ryan Lufkin. He's the Vice President of Global Academic Strategy and Instructor in Salt Lake City, Utah. Thanks so much for joining us today, Ryan.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you work for the makers of Canvas, which is an educational platform used by many universities. So in your work there, tell us, how are things changing on college campuses for students and faculty?
Yeah, what we're seeing is students still want that traditional on-campus experience, and so that's why we're seeing those enrollment numbers continue to trend up. But we're also seeing them looking for more online courses and more flexibility in how they take their classes. And then the other aspect that's not really captured in the numbers that you mentioned are the increase in non-traditional students, so adult learners who are coming back to reskill or upskill. And so we're really seeing a shift towards more of a lifelong learning journey, going to school, going to work, coming back to school for new skills, and then going back to the job market. And so it's kind of shifting how colleges support that lifelong learning journey.
And let's talk about artificial intelligence, because we know artificial intelligence, AI, playing a role in so many things, also playing a role in the gap between student expectations and institutional capacity. So explain that for us.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that's driving these changes is this fast pace of technology change. And so what we're seeing is AI has the ability to really make for more engaging classes, to take some of the load of mundane tasks off of the educators, and then speed up how quickly educators can provide feedback on tests and papers and things like that. And so it really is creating a more engaging experience that should help more students stay on track. But really, we're just moving beyond that. The first couple of years really drove a lot of fear around AI. And now that we understand that we can really be applying these tools safely and effectively in the classroom, now we're starting to see that kind of shift and change how courses are being delivered.
Yeah, and more universities, do you think, or colleges will start to incorporate AI because, kids and technology getting younger and younger?
Yeah, I have a college student and a high school student myself, and so yeah. I actually see how they're using AI and the guidance they're given at different levels. And so really, as we teach the ethical and effective use of AI to our students, we've got to give them those guidelines: when to use it, when to not use it. Never turn it in as your final product, but really use it as a learning assistant, things like that. And that's what we've kind of been grappling with, I think, over the last couple of years. And AI is not going anywhere. These students are going to be using these tools in the workplace. We need to teach them how to use it effectively. And so we're seeing that a lot in coursework across the college spectrum. Really, educators leaning into when to use it in their courses, when not to use it, and then when do they use it themselves, and what do they teach with it, right? So more and more schools implementing great tools that can allow students to actually choose how they want to ingest the course content and things like that. Really kind of a fascinating time transitioning in education.
And it really is kind of meeting students where they are. Many of them
Absolutely.
will have that experience when they get to college because they've already used those tools.
Yeah.
Yeah, from your go ahead.
No, yeah, I mean, that's the thing is the more they're familiar with these tools in high school, in college, the more effective they're using it when they get to the workplace. And a lot of employers, what we've seen from data that research we've done, is that a lot of employers are expecting those students to come in with those skills, ready to be able to use AI, to manage AI, to understand how to use it effectively. And if they don't have those skills, they're really on their back foot.
Yeah, and finally this afternoon, from your perspective and from your research, what does it indicate will be the biggest challenges maybe for higher education in the future?
I think the biggest challenge really is to provide more of that student-centered learning, right? Really make sure they're meeting students where they are, as you said, and delivering the course content in a way that brings every learner along, right? Really closes those accessibility gaps. Every learner learns differently, every teacher teaches differently, and AI really has the power to fill those gaps and really meet those students where they are. And so I think you'll see more and more schools really leveraging the power of these tools, really overcoming the fear and kind of negativity around how these tools can be used, and really addressing that whole lifelong learning. Again, it is a lifelong learning journey. No longer just that 12, 16, 20 years of college and then we work for the rest of our lives. It's a cycle now and we're living longer. And so how do universities adapt to support learners at every stage of that? And that's really what a lot of schools are doing, some really innovative things to address, and we're here to support them with that.
Ryan Lufkin, the Vice President of Global Academic Strategy at Instructure in Salt Lake City, Utah. Thanks so much for joining us here on First at 4 Focus, and have a great day.
Thank you, you too.